God or awareness, but it's only there as long as we're perceiving it from the dream. And once we wake up, even that is gone. But I still have a hard time with the concept of nothing. Like, how did something, anything at all, arise out of nothing? There has to be something that was always there and is always there and will not go away. I don't know.
And there isn't really a bad, right? It's just people's interpretations that make things good or bad. But there's actually no such thing as good or bad.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about, because I've often said that there is no good and there is no bad. There just is. But then I was thinking about it, and it it makes me it made me think that the same as that there is no good or bad, is it something where there is no is and there is no is not? Because implying that there is means that there is something to be is not, right? Much the same as implying that there's good, you have to have the other side of the coin that there's a bad. So then would it be something where it's not
Is
even an is or an is not. It's again trying to describe something without words because words don't really convey the message appropriately.
correct, correct. We are really on the touched in the sense that there is no is either. Because if there
Hmm.
is, there should be a not is not, right?
Hmm.
So that is what the concept or the principles or the discovery of emptiness, you know. The emptiness
Hmm.
means that really there is no is either. There is no right or wrong, and then no is either. But when you say that way, conventionally, people might think, what this nonsense are, right? But it is not the
Sure.
conventional way we are talking about. We're talking about unconventional matter, which is actually more real truth or absolute truth. So that is what I think
Hmm.
the most of the even scientists are trying to figure that out. So scientists are, going through all this matter and then experimenting here and there, and then we have a collider in Switzerland that where they collide all the atoms and then try to see something inside, and in fact, it's nothing there. So all these particles are just time and space. And so some of the scientists, they are now naming it different ways. I know that really the Professor Frank Tipler, and I think is in Connecticut or somewhere, one of the universities, is explaining that as a singularity. Singularity in the sense that it is nothing there, nothing of that. So it's kind of emptiness. He just explained the same way, saying that it could be emptiness and all that. So still, for our mind, it is again another is, right? Although the singularity, the name given to that is just is, and then I could see the same, pattern, and then even the Professor Frank is talking about finding the omega point in there. If there is a is, then there should be a is not too, right? So I know that even
Mhm.
Eckhart Tolle always talked about isness because he just referred to that as a isness rather than saying that that doesn't have to have the is not. That's how he's tried to explain because it's a very hard thing to explain, of course. But when I would say that really that is what is been, commonly known as the emptiness, the with the capital E. So that emptiness means that really there's no even is there. So nothing there, nothingness. So when it comes to that nothingness, I was referring to that Professor Frank Tipler in, I think, Connecticut or somewhere, one of the university. He came up with the words called singularity. So that singularity is that really beyond all this Big Bang and whatever happened here. So that is where that really his concept is to say that there's thing called singularity. From there, the Big Bang came up, and then with the Big Bang, this whole universe is created, and then it was done, and it was done to some level of scheduling and all that kind of thing. But he referred to that singularity as an entity. It says unnatural entity. In the sense, natural means that really everything is commonly referred to, kind of a thing that conventional things are natural. That's how he refers to the word natural. And so he's calling it unnatural, the singularity, in the sense that it's an unnatural entity. So that means nothing to do with this whole universe, but it is a different entity. I mean, the AKA God. That's what he meant, I think. He mentioned that as a God. And then he said, and there is every person that is in this universe or in this world, whoever died, they leave a kind of a footprint of their own things on that singularity, which is called omega point. And so that his theory is that really if we can catch, or if we can identify that, and then we can recreate that person's past. That's what his concept is, and then his principle is all about. That's why the difference here is that really isness means nothing there, nothingness. So there is no, it's not kind of a thing, because it's nothing there. So that's the concept. Normally, even Eckhart Tolle is just promoting. He just says that no, it's not a concept. He says that isness. That's how he calls it. Isness. That's all. Nothing there. So, but in other traditions, of course, we call it emptiness with a capital E. Emptiness. Nothing there. So that Professor Frank Tipler, he was saying that it's a singularity. Beyond this universe, there is a singularity, and then he called that singularity as a supernatural, actually, not unnatural. It's called supernatural being or supernatural entity. So that supernatural entity is the one that really created all this thing, and not the Big Bang, but it created all this individual, minute thing. He planned it and then created. So that's kind of an entity point of view that he's giving. But my inclination, and of course the Buddha's wisdom, is that really there's no entity as such either, because nothing there, nothingness. So it is emptiness or the nothingness. So this universe is, of course, as long as you are perceiving this universe, it is existing. Like, we are dreaming. So this is a dream. We normally talk about that. The dream is to be dreamed up. So that means we are dreaming it. But if we wake up, or if we wake up, of course, there's no dream there. So then no universe there, no good or bad there, no isness is either there, because nothing there. We were inside something like, in way, but we are not there anymore. So that is what it means, isness, or the is not thing. Is like, actually, it's a singularity, emptiness. Some people refer to that as a oneness, but I think it is coming from the most yogic tradition. They call it as Brahman, in the sense like, that supernatural entity, or you are joining with that supernatural entity. I could see two dimensions to that. One is, of course, that since there is no word or lack of word or lack of absence of any meaning for this emptiness, they are referring to that as the oneness or the Brahman or the God or whatever it is. It could be one way. That's one side of it. But the other side is, of course, they are mistaken to say that there is somebody there, supernatural entities there. So that is not there either. So when I explain most of the time, that what I do is that most of the people talk about this, our inner essence is like, little drop of water from ocean. So once we die, that drop or die or whatever we are enlightened or whatever it is, that drop goes and mix up with the ocean. And then the ocean is there, but you can't find who you are and anything's water. But to me, I think the Buddha's wisdom point of view, it is, there is no ocean either. So nothing. That's what it is. So that's the first question that we were referring to. And the second one, of course, Alex, you can repeat again.
Yeah, so I was saying that along the same kind of lines, if we follow that same thread of no is, no not is, no good, no bad, if we follow that kind of same path, and we think about then existence, it's then something where there actually is no existence, because having an existence would then imply the same thing, that there would be a non-existence as well. So it would be a thing that's there is such a thing to exist, and then there is such a thing to not exist. But when we look behind that, it's neither of them.
Yeah, that's right. Neither of them. One of the way that it can be explained is like now the sun is shining up out there, but when the sun rays pass through, if there is any object, only you can see that ray, right? Like, if you hold something, or because of the earth is there, because earth, we know that the earth is light up when it is turned onto the sun side. It is the daytime for us, right? So because it hits the rays hits our earth, and then it's radiate. So that is how it's radiate, right? If there wasn't a earth, we don't know whether there is anything or any rays or anything other than, we have to just cut off that sun part of it, because it's an example. So we are saying the rays coming from sun, but we don't. We have to just give a little exception for that, because on this example, I'm talking about just a rays coming from somewhere. And then that to identify that rays, we have to have that kind of a object to see that really that's rays. So in the same token, this our conventional perception is what really bringing up this whole universe, right? As I said in the book as well, it's only for you that this universe exists. Although we think that really, we conventionally think that really, no, it is not. It is all around us and everywhere from us. But that is how we perceive it, just like we are perceiving in the dream. But in fact, actually, that perception process, if that perception process stopped, which is that, Paticca and so many other things, like, we can condense into 5 aggregation process, and we can condense further into, say, that really the karma and the intentional karma. So those are the same thing, but it's condensed into a very minute way. So that is what that is where that really we do not perceive. If we do not perceive anything, we are not there, right? So that is that awakening. So the question asked from our mind, or our conventional wisdom, is that, okay, then who are you? Right? If you are not the perceiving person, who are you? So that's the thing. Again, we are just trying to individualize and ask, who are you? So there's no individuality there. So that is what it is, the spaciousness. It is just a spaciousness. So for our mind, of course, it is nonsense, like, right? Just like that tadpole. If tadpole was told that you are inside of water, he would say nothing. No, I am very well. I'm just swimming here and there. What is water? There's nothing called water. But when it becomes a frog, it come out and say, oh, there is water. This, I was inside there. That's all. But again, it's a example. It's a simile. Don't try to think that really, okay, then I will be a big frog. Then again, you are giving an entity in there, but it's not an entity in there. So it is a kind of a simile there, and the same time, another example for this is with the experience some of the people are talking about is like, that the parachuter. When you jump out of the plane and then you are just coming down, enjoying the free fall, and halfway through you started to open the parachute and then it's not there, or it may be malfunctioning and is keep on falling and falling and falling. And then with this experience, he knows that really he will hit the ground very soon. But that soon is not coming at all. There's no ground underneath. Kind of a freedom. So there's nothing to fear. That kind of an experience, that's the different way of explaining that emptiness or the non-entity that we all are perceiving from, I would say, because we are perceiving this whole thing, but from there only we are perceiving. We all are perceiving that, but that there, what I meant was that free fall, no friction, that kind of a freedom. Again, don't think is that freedom is for me. No, it's not for you. It is the freedom, that's all. Yeah. You can add something, Stephanie. I can see your smile. You've got it.
I don't know if I have anything to add. This is just very fascinating and very difficult to understand with our limited mind, Like, I understand that this universe is sort of like a spontaneous dream in the mind of God, or we can call God awareness, and that we are God or awareness, but it's only there as long as we're perceiving it from the dream. And once we wake up, even that is gone. But I still have a hard time with the concept of nothing. Like, how did something, anything at all, arise out of nothing? There has to be something that was always there and is always there and will not go away. I don't know. My mind has a hard time understanding that part.
Yeah, its mind cannot understand at all. That's the problem. As you said that earlier, but the concept, you said is the right word of concept. So concept itself is a concept. So that you are trying to understand a concept, or it's not a concept. It's just nothing. So then nothing to because your mind is still struggling because of your still the tadpole in the water kind of a thing. That's how you see it. So it is, and then sometimes people might think that this is nonsense, nothing, but that really over 2,600 years, many people have been seeing this, and then that's why this is really still being talked about, still being experienced about. And then of course you two actually had the experience, but you are now in this side as with that 7 fetters and struggling to figure out that really what is it, and then that. You don't need to actually figure that out, but it's good to talk about it because it's good to get the understanding of it. But it will deteriorate from you, and then you will see that it's coming through, gradually into the understanding that really all these are because of we are just clinging into it, we are just pursuing it, and then it's not real understanding as it's currently you understand. Even Sean can understand what we are talking about if you are focusing on. I mean, it's not understanding, it's actually realization, self-efficacy will come to you. Yeah. I want to throw that word again and see how do you guys feel that way? Because self-efficacy, which I picked up from one of the other Sri Lankan guy who was doing so many research and he just talked about this as of self-efficacy. When I say self-efficacy, what does it mean to you, Alex?
For me, what I interpret that you're meaning is it's a truth that you understand from a inherent kind of level. Like even if it's something that maybe doesn't fully make sense, there's something that at your deepest level you go, I can tell that this is true, but I don't really know why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's kind of how I interpret it.
Okay. How about you, Stephen?
I don't know what the word efficacy means because English is not my first language. So
Yeah.
self-efficacy right now means nothing to me.
Okay, I'll help you with that. Even my English is second language for me too, but I picked up that word because of during the COVID time. You know that really they were testing all these vaccinations, and then or
Mhm.
the shots, and then they came up with saying that really this particular shot has a 95% efficacy. So that means that really wherever they tested, the 95% of the places it worked. And then all the medical communities are saying, oh, we are just approving, we normally approve the any kind of a vaccination when it is over 60%. Now it is 95%. And then
Really?
it's, yeah. And then that 60% comes from not only just rapid testing, it's years and years of testing with thousands and thousands of people. But this one was just about, within a year or not even a year, I think 2, 3 months, they came up with this 95% efficacy. Who knows how they've been tested. So the meaning behind it to me was that really of course, efficacy is really the proven to you. So self-efficacy is that proven to you. So that is the right word of, in Pali word, it's called the pratyaksha, in the sense that really it's your inner essence, that is right. That is like, even Alex was touching on that area, that really it is coming through you, like, although you may question, but in this case you don't need to question it anymore, because you know that really it is the truth, because you have already experienced. The very simple example of that self-efficacy, or that protection, the word is like, you may ask your child to not to touch the flame of a candle because it's just burning, and then child will say no, and then as soon as you look out other side, he will put the finger and then see whether it is really burning, and then it's burned. Then only he knows that, oh, it's really what my mom or dad said is right. So kind of that is the self-efficacy, because by himself or herself realize, yeah, it is actually burning. This is the burning sensation. So there's no question after that on that sense. That's how I see it. How about Sean?
One of those words that we all came to hear quite often. And, I was glad that Alex conveyed his understanding there, because uh, I was kind of torn between the two of thinking it's, self-efficacy being like, how effective am I at something, which is similar to succeeding, though to a lesser degree, I would think. And you were trying to say, some degree of understanding, right?
Or proven understanding. So we'll go along with that, succeeding. Succeeding means, on the other hand, isn't it the proven to you? You succeeded. I know that it as a result, it's an outcome, right?
Yeah.
Succeeding is outcome, but in the self point of view, is you succeed in the sense that really it's a proven to you, right? You did this and it's proven to you. Am I trying to change the English language?
Maybe a bit, but I do I get what you are trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because the normal word they use is actually self-realization. So self-realization is kind of a realization that really you can realize by mixing two different colors into one, and to say that really, oh, this is blue and green and yellow mix up, and then it comes with blue. That's self-realization too, right?
Yeah.
And
Or in
the
this
same
case,
thing.
a truth that you have found about yourself,
Yeah,
an understanding about yourself.
that's right. So that is why I don't like that word for this, the Pali word pratyaksha, because that doesn't mean that really. That's not that is actually conceptually you think it's a blue, and then everybody agreed with that blue. But this particular word pratyaksha is much deeper, to say that really it is just like you put your finger into flame, it's burned. So that kind of experiential uh, evidence or experiential, not understanding, experiential experience. So that's all. That's what the actual meaning of that pratyaksha. So that's what I'm finding a word for that. When you say self-realization, realization can be done that way too, on the outside or anywhere, and then you wear a blue shirt, and then luckily here, see, Alex wearing the blue shirt too, self-realization. But on the other hand, am I make sense or?
Yeah, you are.
So that is where that I'm looking for the other word. So it's for efficacy in the sense that really proven to me, because that's why 95% proven. That is why it's been succeeded, according to the translation definition. Of course, succeeded, but of course when you come to the vaccination and all that, that was proven by 95%. But when you go to the CDC, they say that really it's proven by 60% for anything to be approved. So it's a proven, and then if it is self-proven, that's the right word for the pratyaksha. But I don't know whether it's debatable. Of course, any word can be debatable on different ways. I just want to land on something. Yes, that's good. And so we were discussing about the emptiness or the singularity, and things that are beyond this existence, and which can be only experienced by individuals. And that is why this even the quantum physics now really going towards the meditation to see whether that quantum physics, that fourth dimension, can be experienced through the meditation. And some people are recommending that if you do meditation, you can see the fourth dimension. But in my mind, and with my inclination, that Buddha has seen not 4 dimensions, he has seen 31 dimensions, and in which we have gone through. I mean, we all went through that. Really, when we go to that non-self experience, we pass through all those dimensions, and then went to that non-self experience, which is the same thing we are talking about as emptiness, or the supernatural entity, as per Frank, Professor Frank is saying. But it's not entity. It's a singularity, can be. It is something, emptiness. Or those are the different words used for that. So that is the our experience. And then we know that it's our experience, and then we have experienced it. Only thing is we are struggling to interpret, or the struggling to put into word. That's the difference.
But the singularity is always there, and it always has been there, and it always will be there. So
Correct.
it's not like there's nothing. There's something, and let's call it singularity, but that's the only thing there is. Right?
Yeah. That's how
Okay.
they interpret, or they present it as the singularity, which is beyond this existence. So it's
Yeah.
something there in that sense. but they call it that as so, and even that is given by different aspect and then concept. And they say that really, of course, it is a black hole. Sometimes they call it, and then sometimes they call it that is the supernatural entity, as God or the Brahman or whatever it is. So still, if it is the personality or the individuality is included, is wrap around with that, that means another thing. So there's no wrapping around there. It's not an individuality. There's no God. No, there's no entity. Nothing there. It's just like the mere space. That not the space that we see as in the universal, inside the universe, but it is outside. And that is the awakening. That is what we experienced. But it's now we are back in this, the perceiving process and try to explain it. No, it cannot be explained. But that experience, the happiness still within us, right? Through us. It's always there. So that is why it has been so popular. And that is why it has been, although it cannot be explained, people are experiencing, people are enjoying it. That is the whole spirituality is about. Not just the Buddhism, but if the spirituality, if somebody going to that level of experience, they also enjoy it. And even when Buddha said that really, okay, I discovered this. I didn't really invent it. I discovered this was there all the time. It's there, and then people before me has explained. I mean, they realize it as well. But there's a little bit of a misnomer on this, especially on the traditional Buddhist point of view. They think that really at the very first sermon of Buddha, he said that really I am going to tell you something that you have never heard or never seen or never experienced. So it doesn't mean that really he's the one who saying it, but what he meant was that really individuality, individual person, whoever listening, you are going to experience something that you never heard or experienced before, because that individuality, the ego or the self-image hasn't experienced it at all. So it is the one that there's nothing to compare to. That's why he mentioned that way. Otherwise, you will compare. This may be that. No, nothing to compare to. So when you experience it, you would know you have never heard before. Kind of a stun thing. That's the actual meaning of it. I just want to clear that little mud in that traditional thing or traditional understanding of this teaching.
Not a question, more just a related thought that can there truly be nothing? And the way I think about that is that, we think of something like space. There's nothing out in space, but that's still a concept that we have, right? We can't truly imagine something that would be complete nothingness, because we have that concept of nothingness, and that is still something. So can there ever be something that would be not necessarily non-existence, because I think that would be a different understanding, but could there be something such as true nothingness?
Yeah, it is again that the same. I mean, the answer is within your questions too, because you were talking about the concept of nothing. So if we are trying to be conceptualized that nothing, it cannot be, it cannot be explained. It is that is why I always say that it's an experiential wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Experiential wisdom. It's not a concept. It's an experience. So we all know that really people have experienced it. So then you don't need to actually conceptualize it. That's the difference. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Alex, you're
Yeah, so I was just again kind of thinking along the same kind of lines that we've been going. And so would it then be something where if we think about the path of birth and death and rebirth, would it then be the same along the same kind of lines where there's not really a birth or a death and it's just a continuation until the point of full awakening in where the cycle of birth and death stops? Am I
no, I,
following kind of
eh,
correctly?
I can see what your point is. In fact, actually, it is a point that would, come from any person, any lay people either, because the again that really we are talking about continuation as that birth and death, but if that includes our fear as well, right? Whether we die or not, and all that things. And I just want to refer back to one of the statement from Stephanie that she was saying that I didn't have any fear of this. What is happening is all happening to my, character. So that character is the one dying and going on all the circle or cycle of rebirth and all that. If you are away from there, so nothing that's not relevance to you, right? So that is the answer for you in the sense that really when you get that non-self experience and then you are in there for you, and when you have explained the similar case that really you are just behind and then you are just talking about this responding to things. So that means that really the things that are really happening in the world and responding to all the conventional things, including the death and birth and rebirth and the cycle of rebirth, all that is encompassing on that conventional world. So that is where that when you understand, he explained all that thing because when you understand it, you can be away from it, or you can experience the part away from that. So it's explained because of the people to draw into this, and then but in fact you have to experience it to really get to the right meaning. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, this is why I like Stephanie's contributions because when you explain things very nice, actually. Sometimes I play your clip on here in Sri Lanka and tell them that really see this is how the non-self, the beyond ourselves that people can explain. And then you explain this very nicely about that. Really, no, I'm not there. I'm not this. I'm not that. And everything is happening to my character. I'm beyond that. So that's the non-self experience in very perfect sense.
Yeah, the problem is when you explain this and to you, or when anyone tries to explain this, we are all limited by language. No matter which language we're using, there are not, in no language on this world, in no country, are there adequate words to express it. So
Sure.
all you or anyone can ever do is point in the direction of it, but you can never exactly explain it because you have to choose some sort of words, and no matter which words you choose, we can argue with the definitions of those words, and no words accurately explain it. So
Correct.
the
That's true.
only way, I agree, the only way you can really truly understand it is through experience and not in an abstract way.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
just how it is.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
you actually put icing on that too. Yeah, exactly. You have been explaining it perfectly, and at the same time, it is that explanation also. Some people may not really realize, but here I like that your explanation is better because the Even I said, because so many people are around me, and then there are about 4,000 odd people who are following my this thing, but still they do have a kind of a little doubt on the sense that really this is one of our guys saying, but not this. Now I'm showing them not just your guys, everybody in the world. They know that this is, and then Stephanie, you are a very good example, and even Alex, yours, and then Tiffany's and Gavin's and all that. So they are just force a little bit rather than going with that concept of, oh, he's another guy kind of a thing. That is good thing. I think that's why I'm here now with all that. Anyway.
Yeah, no matter how we explain it, we can only explain it as a concept, and no matter which words we choose, you can always poke holes into every concept. So
that's true.
You have to experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it cannot ever make complete sense to you until then.
Exactly. That's what I'm now here. What I'm doing is I'm not going. I do the discussion as well, but I always say that come and practice with me. I'll show you how to do it, and then you have. But I'm not going to take you there. But you need to get to that. You need to allow that to happen to you, and then it's coming through you. And I'll help you to bring that ambience within you. So after that, it will happen to you, kind of a thing. So that's the only effective way of this, transferring this experience to others, not by any discussion or any books or anything, but they are supportive, just a peripheral thing that really people do draw into. But later on, there are so many other things that really people draw into, like, that Heidi on the other day, that she was saying she had the near-death experience, and now all of a sudden she was really upset and trying to find out what is going on. That's another way of coming up. Even some people, even like Sean, that he's trying to figure that out, studying it, and then getting conceptualized what it is. It's another way of approaching it. And one time, Sean might see that, these guys are doing something different. I need to practice in order to get this right. And it happens. I mean, to me, I can see even those very high, philosophers like Rene Descartes. He was just giving that expression of that, I think, therefore I am. It is to say that really in the other way, as long as I'm thinking, as I'm entangled with the concept, I will be there. If I don't, I'm not. He put it the other way. I mean, but sometimes people take it differently. I know that even I think Eckhart Tolle or somebody was just saying that it's a wrong thing, but because that the angle they are looking at it is different. But I could see the actual aspect of why he came up with that. And that whole phrase is started with you have a doubt. Because of that doubt, you're thinking. So because of that thinking, and then you become. And just a becoming that we talked about last time. So you become, and then you are, because as long as you're thinking, therefore you are, or the I am. That's his self-realization or self-efficacy. This is a help for anybody who's listening. We are talking about this silence nature that we all experience right now.
Yeah, even though we can't explain it perfectly, I think it'll be helpful if people hear that there are multiple people who have experienced it. So it must be a thing. And this is not just a myth that someone read in a book, but this is an actual thing.
Correct. Exactly. That's what I like your contribution, all of your contribution, even the Sean's. Because the sometime to see this differently, we need to have both sides too. So then people would know that, this is what it is. And even my, the other group, that there are so many different people. I mean, they are coming from scriptures. Some people are very much, more kind of a logical thinking and trying to figure that out. And some people are with the experience. And all come together. And then when you discuss this, actually, this is a ancient, the Buddha's teaching on one side. He said you need to be discussed. So that's why we call it that noble friends or the Kalyana Mitra. So that is one of the reasons that this whole discovery has been still running, still existing without any controller. Because there is no control like, Pope or anybody in the Buddhist real practice, although we do have identified different people like leaders like, Dalai Lama and other people, but they are not really officially leading the pact. They are just leading their own pact, that's all. But the actual, the teaching is, or the discovery is leading by itself, by people who discuss it, and then it will run through the people like the all noble friends they are talking about. That's what Buddha mentioned. When we are discussing this kind of things, that's 100% support for real awakening. So noble friends are the 100% support for real awakening. It doesn't mean that really individually like me and you and by the name, but it's what we are talking about, what we are really pointing into. That is the noble friend. So it doesn't matter what variety of we are, it's actually the things what we are talking about. That is what really the true friends of as Buddha meant by, and then that they are the 100% really helping. And then the second factor he mentioned was this need to be discussed and then get through to your mind, like what Sean is doing, that really research it and see what is going on, and that's the second factor of the stream enterers. One of the quality, not factor, actually quality. The first quality of the stream enterer is actually to engage with this kind of a discussion, that is Kalyana Mitra, the association with noble friends. And the second quality is to research and find out what it is actually, is it right, is it wrong, and all those kind of things. And then the third quality is that really it's called self-realization or self-efficacy kind of a thing, that you have to find out what's the cause of this particular thing, and then investigation. Actually, that's the right word, investigation. Investigating whether Dhamma or whether what we talk about or whether you read is correct by applying to yourself to see that how you really perceive it. Is it the right way to perceive it, kind of a thing? And it's in Pali, it's called Yoniso Manasikara. It's a long word, but it is the same thing. Like you're trying to figure that out or researching yourself. And that the fourth quality of any stream enterer is that it will be practicing. So you need to practice. Whatever you learn, whatever you have, that you have to practice with it. So that's why we do that meditation or the meditative absorptions, where that we could open up ourselves to see the true nature within us. So those are the four qualities of a stream enterer. But a stream winner do have 8 different qualities. One is, of course, it's called like the living with livelihood, the harmonious livelihood kind of a translation it is. But it means that really we are not running with this rat race anymore. We do actually do the work, whatever be necessary to get to that, but it doesn't mean that really we want to be a billionaire, go to Mars, or anything like that, right? So that's kind of a thing. That's one of the reasons, because that there is no self there. So the stream winner is the one that who really realized that what is this all rat race, and then why these people are comically reacting to this and then jumping up and down and all that. So you have a very neutralized or harmonized livelihood. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, of course, your blissfulness or the preeti, in the sense that you're happy. That's your true happiness is always coming through you. You may be a little bit, stressed out on the job, but it is a job, and that's nothing to do with your inner essence. But your inner essence is just like as you said, Stephanie, earlier, that really it's a skill of riding a bicycle. It's always there. It's there. There's nothing to worry. But it's the outsiders. Maybe sometimes you even think that, oh, am I really having the true happiness? But it is your mind is thinking. But once you rest your mind and tell you, oh, you are really having true happiness, right? So that is the second thing. And then the third thing is actually the courage, in the sense that it's virya. It's called courage in the sense that you have that self-evidence or self-efficacy, that you know that really I should be in this path rather than drifting into some other thing and going with the other things, kind of thing. That kind of a encouragement to be in the path, be in this experience all the time. And then you do have to have the courage and then of course your freedom, or the actually it's your easiness, I would say. You would see that really you're not you're relaxing a lot. So relaxing a lot, actually, it's called really viveka, in the sense that really you're resting, because you will find the way to rest as well. Although you might be working 40 hours a week, but still you might find the way to rest is because it is coming through you. You know that all these things are the restless things. And then, of course, the second one, of course, the fifth one is your absorption, or the meditative absorption, which is within you all the time. And that may be intense sometimes, that may not be intense, but it's still there. So that's the samadhi, in the sense that absorption. And then, of course, the fifth one or the sixth one is that really your wisdom, samadhi and wisdom. And then you are wiser than you used to be. If I put it that way, you used to be. You thought that you were wiser earlier, but now you're wiser than that. That's the wisdom. And then, of course, your what do you call that doubt. There is no doubt at all now for you, in the sense that really you know that really this is the path, this is the experience that I have, and so that's keep you doing. And the eighth and the very last one, and then the very, 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 very important one, is actually to not to proliferate any thoughts, in the sense that really you are, if you have a little tiny bit of a thought, a signal of thought, if you start, continuing with that process of thinking and all that thing, then it's again goes down. So it's the quality of that not to do that. So you may be in a business or in a project that really you wanted to go, and then you must be thinking, oh, this way, that way, and then you maybe just get lost in there. But that shouldn't be there. That need to be just, to the level. Of course, you need to understand, you need to do that paperwork and all that. In the same time, don't worry about that really, okay, I do have to, finish this sound this time and all that. No, you have to have that kind of a calmness to complete it. So that is one of the things. That is the very higher level, but it's a very even minute level. This is the problematic thing in this our whole world, because we start with that proliferation of our thoughts or our intention or our little minute attention, minute clinging, which is being explained as ignorance, right? Because we are ignorance of that, we are clinging to things. Because of that, we are proliferating that and making whole chaos later on at the end. So that's the last one, that really, which is very important one. And it's very important one because that really in the scriptures, it says one time, one of the practitioners, he was well into the almost done, on that fourth stages of enlightenment. He has done third and then fourth one. Now he's stuck in that fourth one, and he was just struggling to get out of it. And then he's thinking, why I'm not leaving out all that, and then kind of thing. And then Buddha has said, why you are thinking about it? So that's the last. So that is what that it itself is the one that is preventing him, getting that awakening. So that's a very important one, and it's that is where that we need to settle. And of course, we have things here and there, but not to overthink. We overthink so many things. So when you're responding to things, you don't have to overthink. You just think about it and make sure that really you do the right thing there. That's it. And if you start proliferating that thought, that means you are building up that snowball. And then rolling it and rolling it and rolling it, and until it's bigger and larger, and you can't even handle it now. You can grab it, you can catch it because it's so big, and then you will be really buried inside and then get lost. So that's where that the eighth quality. That means you don't do that, right? When I say that, I always explain not that you are doing it. You shouldn't be doing that. So that quality comes with you with the understanding of all the other qualities as well. So that will lead you to the rest of the stages of awakening. So I gave the both qualities of stream enterer and the qualities of stream winner too. You may find that really you do have those qualities, either of them. Even that things that really looking for, researching, and try to find out, try to figure out what is this Dhamma, what is this teaching kind of thing. That is one of the quality. And then engage with this kind of a discussion is one of the quality of that stream enterer. And if you're really focusing on how it is happening within you, that's the third quality of that stream enterer. And then if you really practice and then allow this meditative absorption to show you or reveal you the true essence of this existence, that's that stream enterer's quality which will lead you to be a stream winner. Good.
And added new things to think about.
Yeah, that's the other thing that really talked about when we are discussing. The 5 things will happen. One is, of course, the people would know what others know, and then the person that was talking will really get some reassurance of what he is talking. And then on the other side, of course, the people are listening, they will learn a lot. And then people, what they have been learned, they can get reassurance of what they have learned was right. Those are the 4 different results, outcome of this discussion. And the 5th one is that really his discovery will survive, and the sense discovery will surface every time we talk about it. I think you will be testament to that. You see that really what we have talked about is more profound, and then it's carried away onto the next generation, maybe, or the next person who's listening to this video.
I just wanted to say the same thing. Thank you. I appreciate your time and energy and explaining this to us over and over again.
Thank you for your sharing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's important to emphasize that it's not something, and we've gone over this before, that it's not something that we can really make anybody experience themselves. It's something that you have to experience for yourself. And that's a thing that a lot of people seem to be, they'll go somewhere and they'll go, well, if I go here, this guy will give me the answer. And rather than it being, well, they're going to give you the answer, they're going to tell you how to find the answer, but then you have to do it yourself.
Very good.